the throw down the
No
field.
way.
Country reaction. Down the field he goes. Down
Another spin and a broken tackle. He's across midfield to the 40, the 30, the 20, 10.
Welcome to SFL Crunch Time. After week 5 is in the books, we've got more highlights to show you. I'm Tyler Falk. I'm alongside Ethan Muslin and Eddie Gage, the Hall of Famer. So, gentlemen, thanks for being here. Eddie, let's start with you. While you were simming pretty much the entire week, what games were you watching while you were simming?
Oh, for me, it's no question without about it. It's going to be the Sioux Falls versus Tulsa because Sioux Falls is in my division. I want to get a good look at them. They're a team that's already early in this season has vastly improved in terms of win-loss record and preseason and predictions. So I want to get a good bird's eye view on them to see what they were doing over there.
Another good game to watch. We'll catch up with them a little bit later. Ethan, over to you. Your favorite game over the weekend?
You know, the games that I've been looking at over the past week, the two that I really want to check out right now is between Lone Star and Houston. Lone Star has been really good on the rise. There's going to be a lot of questions we might talk about later. The other one is going to be San Diego. San Diego's been looking real scary this season, and they just might be the team to beat in the SFL. I'm putting a bit of a hot take, but it might be a little bit warm.
All right, and with that, let's get to right around the league.
We'll start off with Lone Star taking on Houston in Southern Texas. This little pass from Ace Fennec, it would be picked off by Josh Rowe. It was a bit of a defensive battle there in the first half. Then later on in that drive, then it's picked right back by Jay Mart. Lone Star would end up getting the win, 25-21.
Up to Maryland we go. Baltimore taking on Mexico City, and Jack Whitmore continues to amaze. He finds Mac Chima for a long touchdown for the Vultures, and the Vultures would have their way with the Aztecs. It'd be a 14-point ball game at that point. They'd finish off the Aztecs 41-27.
Going up to the Mile High City, Denver hosting St. Louis. In the third quarter, Christian Brown trying to throw, but Jose Fuentes says, I stole it. He gets the ball right back for the Nightwings. Then in the third quarter, big pass down here for Riley Quintero. He is gone for a 48-yard touchdown. Denver would win it 23-20.
Duval, Jacksonville, and Carolina doing battle. And Carolina would start off the game pretty well, I would say, as they connect with Tony Zoma for a long 50-plus yard scamper and score for the Skyhawks, as they would take a 6-point lead because the extra point would be blocked. A low snap gets blocked. 37-34 in overtime. Jacksonville the winners.
To the Mount Rushmore State, Sioux Falls hosting Tulsa, and AJ Levy tying himself for 5th all-time in interceptions with this pick. Did himself a fantastic job. And then GP Wells running to the right, getting the score. The Sparrows beat the Desperados 32-22.
Mavericks hosting the Fleet in San Diego, and Gunnar Lewis has come out of his shell since leaving the Sparrows, and he got 2 touchdowns. That's his first one to the back of the end zone, as the San Diego Mavericks would get on the board first in that ball game. Take a look again. San Diego beats Portland 47-34.
Then finally across the pond in London, the Charles Knights looking for their first win. Throw here from Johnny Pickler to Vin Calia. Great run down the sideline, going to get them inside the Fort Worth 20. Soon after that, it would be a toss to Tiberius Bovine for the score, and the Knights get their first W, 38-27 over
Revolution and the Swarm, and BDG Hollywood starting off everything with a big ol' run. Put that on the top 10, Mr. Cameron Irvine. BDG got the ball rolling for the Swarm. It would take the lead on in the third quarter. But meanwhile, Dynasty trying to find some space over the middle to try and keep the advantage, but he will find an interception instead. Even Arthur over the middle. Excuse me, that's going to be Tank Bennett this time around who picks kicks off Dynasty, the Flying. Now, Delano on the reception, ensuing possession for the Revs. That'll get him with a first down. But eventually have to settle for a field goal, which would put them up in front. Now, ensuing possession for Atlanta, looking again over the middle. This time finds the hands of one of his teammates. That's Boo Chisholm over the middle. Now, later on, fourth quarter, near side, Boo Chisholm again. Getting closer and closer to that red zone. They, too, would have to settle for a field goal, and the game would teeter-totter back into their favor, 2019. Here, midway through the fourth quarter, later on, big third down for the Revolution. Handoff through the middle, and oh boy, with a lot of room to run, goes Colin Hart across midfield down to the 37. Revolution in business. Tommy Utah now trying to find another. Finds his man over the middle. Caught. First down. Now to the 21-yard line. Just over 5 minutes to go. They go with the running game again. It's a big handoff. Big ol' scamper through the middle. Gets him a first down for Colin Hart. The drive would peter out again. A common theme we'd find tonight. Another field goal for Otis Boudreau. Might talk about him later on tonight as well. Later on, Atlanta on their next possession, trying to go for it all again, and Tank Bennett again, his second pick of the ball game. He leads the league, or is now tied for top of the league with 7 interceptions. Utah now on the very next possession, looking for an out route on 3rd and long, gets it, first down to B. Robo on the sideline. Again, Boudreau would be called upon to extend the lead. He would make good on his work. Field goal number 6 of the ball game for Otis Boudreau. Atlanta would not be done yet. Instead, he gives it to Mike Ryan, and Mike Ryan also has 7 interceptions. 2 defenders for Louisiana, Ryan and Bennett. Now with 7 interceptions, that leads the league along with one other man, A.J. Levy, and that would also, the drive would peter out, and that would be Otis Boudreau's longest and 7th field goal of the night. Atlanta trying to mount a comeback. Under a minute to go. Deep ball over the middle. Wooding. He's going to take it down inside the 30 to the 22-yard line. Atlanta trying to find a way back in this game. 10 seconds to go. Pass over the middle is caught, but they can't spike the ball. The clock would evaporate on the hopes and dreams of Atlanta here in the ball game, and Louisiana come into the Hive and take the victory, 28-20. And now, gentlemen, Atlanta and Louisiana. What a climactic finish to that ball game. Louisiana, maybe lucky to be in that, some would say, but if you look at how the defense played and look how Otis Boudreau was just clutch and made all 7 of the field goals he was asked to do, nothing more you could ask for Louisiana. Ethan, let's start with you.
Yeah, I think they absolutely did a fantastic job. I think Boudreau is probably the biggest factor in this game, contributing 21 of Louisiana's 28 points. Did a fantastic job on the leg. I think they were doing a fantastic job on the defense, as you said. They now have 2 defenders with 7 interceptions on the season. This is definitely a team on the rise. They've won their last 2 in a row. Atlanta's having a little bit of trouble. They won 2 and then they lost 2. This might just be a case where you've got a team on the upswing, one team kind of going on the downswing. But as we say, it's still early in the season to tell.
And Eddie, turnovers were a factor for Atlanta here in this ball game. 5 in total, 4 interceptions, 1 fumble. Is this something that Atlanta needs to fix, or is it maybe just a case of maybe a division rival getting the better of them, and this is maybe a non-factor for Atlanta?
Well, we talked about this, Tyler, off camera about the schedule that Atlanta has gotten off to start this season. They've played against very aggressive defensive coordinators. And Dynasty, he's been in the league a few seasons now, so I'm sure Mark Chisholm, who's a season 14 champion, to get that ship right and get things figured out. But off to an aggressive start, and Dynasty not looking so good right now. But I'm sure at some point Mark will get things straightened out.
Let's go to a Pacific Division matchup now. San Diego hosting the Fleet. Right off the bat, Gunnar Lewis getting his second touchdown of the game, getting himself and San Diego a 14-10 lead. Gunnar Lewis had a phenomenal day. 2 touchdowns, 17 receptions for 202 yards. Then soon afterward, it would be Ezekiel Love. He is gone. Gonna go 63 yards to the house for a Portland touchdown. That would give the Fleet back the lead. Let's take a look at this again. Watch the block from Lozano here. What a great block. Then a cut around here for Lozano, for Love, and he is just gone. Nobody behind him. That would give Portland the lead 17-14. Then early in the second quarter, Mavericks looking to respond here. This pass here to Lottie Lou. Good for just could not get the first down. But they would go for it on 4th and 1. And then the pass here complete to Gunnar Lewis. That would convert the 4th down play and keep the drive alive for the Mavericks. Next play, another pass to the left side. It's Lewis again for a gain of 5. Another pass here from Scar Patterson, the rookie, doing very well in the pocket. Gets it inside, close to the 10. Now on 2nd and 10. Patterson to throw to the left. He's got it, and it's good for the touchdown. What a great reception there for Optimus Klein. His 1 score of the day. San Diego would take the lead. Deep ball here from Portland. OJ Bruin being very brave, getting it into Maverick territory. Then the handoff, and it's Ezekiel Love again, running it to the house, getting the score, and Portland gets the lead once again. They would lead it 24-21. And that would be Ezekiel Love's 2nd touchdown of the day. He would end up with 21 rushes with 155 yards. Hello, Daddy. Late in the second quarter, Bruin trying to throw out of his own end zone, but he's picked off by Zach Lay and runs it right into the end zone for the pick 6. What an incredible defensive stand by the Mavericks deep in Portland territory. They took the lead and didn't look back. San Diego wins it 47-34.
Major division clash in the Tex-Mex, otherwise known as the South Division, with Glory and Hyenas. Who came away with the victory in the Den? Find out when we return here on SFL Crunch Time.
Lone Star and Houston in a Tex-Mex division battle. And there is a great run here from Brad Jones, 75 yards. He is just gone. They're trying so hard to catch up to him, but that ain't going to happen. Not with Brad Jones. There's a touchdown. That would give Houston 14-3 lead. And later on, Brad Jones will get his 2nd score of the day on the 3rd quarter. That would give it a 21-3 lead. But Lone Star was not out of it yet. There's a run there from McBride. Mike McBride had 88 yards rushing on the day. And a pass here, too, from one card shark to another. Ace to Deuce. Good reception there. And then another run here to the left side from McBride would bring it up close to the first down, but they said he was just short of the marker. He had himself a pretty good run here. Then here was another run to the right side. McBride would get inside the 10, bring it down to 1st and goal to go. Lilling down to the 4th quarter. Another handoff here to McBride, and he's into the house for the touchdown. That got Lone Star right back in it to make it 21-10. Later in the 4th quarter, about 3 minutes and change to go. Here's a pass to Dave Axis. Ooh, what a great pass there. Gonna take a heave to the left side here. Good pass here is complete. That was Soto going down to the sideline, trying to reset here with 3 minutes to go, going into the no huddle. Now on 3rd and 7. Fennec to throw. Pass complete there for the 1st down. Gonna keep on driving. Lone Star was trying so desperately to get back into this game. Here's another 1st down. Now inside the Houston red zone. Then the pass from Ace Fennec down to the right side. Caught for the touchdown. And that was Mr. Dave Access getting the score. They had to go for 2. They went for it, and they scored on the run from McBride. Then having to go to the extra point. They have to get the onside kick here. It was bobbled and recovered by Lone Star. Ziggy Horrick making the recovery here. You see here, it got a little bit bobbled, a little bit loose. Houston could not hold on to it. Lone Star would be back in the ball game, giving themselves another chance. Access here, going to get a great reception, taking it down to the Houston 7 with a minute and change to go. And then Soto to the left side, into the end zone for the touchdown. That would give Lone Star the lead. Now Brad Jones going to get the screen to the left side. He would get the first down and then some, putting himself out of bounds with about 15 seconds to go. Houston would not go quietly, but this pass from Burr would get picked off. 25-21 as Mickey McGuire ices for the glory. So Lone Star has been having themselves a pretty good season so far. 3-1. They've beaten 2 playoff contenders from last season. The question is coming up now with a bigger schedule coming up down the line. Is Lone Star legit?
As you said, it's early in the season. You never want to get too high or too low this early. The season's still kind of taking shape, and teams are still trying to figure out their identity, but it is an improvement from last season's win-loss record for Lone Star thus far. So you got to think the scale is looking towards the positive direction, but there's a lot of football left. As you said, their schedule is about to get serious. They got Mexico City, who took Baltimore down to the wire in the Final Four last season. They got the defending champions the very next week. Got the LA Lakers, who played in the playoffs. So these next 3 games are going to be a big story as to where Lone Star heads moving forward.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. Looking at the schedule, Tyler, as we said, we got Mexico City, Baltimore, and LA next. They 4 of their next 4 games, next 5 games coming up on the schedule are against playoff contenders or teams that are close to contending from the playoffs last season. Like, do you think they can survive this 5-game stretch?
Well, it's going to be tough for Lone Star, but at the same time, well, there goes another 2-10 prediction I had, and I have Greg Soto to thank for that, as he reminds me that he's got a big old list of everybody's predictions against Lone Star, and well, I go off the board. He's been messaging me every single week. They win. He's like, I gotta thank you because every single day I'm simming, I'm looking at that list, looking at your name, seeing that you picked me to go 2-10, and he's crossed my name off the board, and he's coming for everybody else too. But Lone Star, it's gonna be tough. And what I said earlier in the preseason is that the South Division is going to be a bloodbath, and Mexico City have not really taken the advantage and stretched their lead like I thought they would and take the advantage. It's Lone Star that leads the division now. And it just goes to show that this wild west here in Texas is absolutely crazy. Texas and Mexico is absolutely crazy. And it's going to be a fun ride to watch this South Division as we get closer and closer to the playoffs, because at this point it's still up for grabs. Any team, even Fort Worth, if things fall their way, if Lone Star struggle as well, do not count any team out of the South Division.
Don't go anywhere, folks. More crunch times coming up right after this.
Sparrows set to do battle in Sioux Falls this past weekend. JQ looking over the middle, finds Corey Jones. Touchdown, that gets Tulsa on the board for their first score of the ball game. That cuts the deficit to within 6 points. Take a look again. Nice little poster route to the center of the field. Splits the defense in the zone. Picks up quality touchdown for the Desperados. Sioux Falls on their next possession, they gave the ball right back to Tulsa. Ricky Thornton with a nice one-handed pick right back of the sticks. That sets them up right near the red zone. However, JQ would find Terrell Davis of Sioux Falls, who picked it up. Very next play, however, the defense for Tulsa came a knocking, and Toby Jules and Chris Andrews brought down quarterback down for a sack. Take a look again. Good defensive pressure from the interior finished off by Chris Andrews on the end to take down Julian Tyree. After a punt, Tulsa would give the ball back, though it'd fall onto the leg of Sammy Prefontaine, the punter for Sioux Falls, who pins Tulsa deep in their own territory, and that leads to the Sparrows defense getting into that backfield, and they would pick up a safety. A.J. Levy, Nathan Barnett come up with the safety, the combined tackle behind the line into the red zone. Tyree would not be outdone and looking for revenge. They're now up 15-9 after the couple interceptions, but it would have to go onto the leg of Zoshto Black, the rookie kicker, who finds a good kick from about 47 yards out. Later on in the football game, Sioux Falls again. DP Wells looking to make a name for himself, gets a couple of blocks, and he's off to the races and gone. Late on in the third quarter, Sioux Falls tack on a touchdown, 25-9. The score at that point. Sioux Falls would go on to win this football game on the legs of a nice rushing performance from GP Wells and Julian Tyree having been a fantastic day through the air. Take a look once more before we close it out. GP Wells with a fantastic run. Great blocking through the middle. Sioux Falls win 32-22. Now, gentlemen, as we take a closer look at Sioux Falls and Tulsa in that football game, what has really been prevalent to me is the reemergence of the Sioux Falls secondary. Levy right up there with Mike Ryan and Tank Bennett in terms of leading the league in interceptions with 7. A couple other of his teammates also near the tops of that ranking. But gentlemen, what has impressed you most with this production from the secondary for Sioux Falls? Eddie, I'd like to start with you.
First of all, the secondary has played great. They always have, as you know, they've been to back-to-back championship games a couple of seasons ago. They did lose Gunnar Lewis, a receiving threat, big-time player for them. So they've done a great job of spreading the ball around. But I like to give credit, if anything, to the defense of Sioux Falls. During Tulsa's 2-game winning streak, they did a great job of getting Douglas Brown more involved than they did at the start of the season. He still had a lot of carries, but he only finished with a total of 75 yards on those 24 carries, just over 3 yards per carry on average. So credit to Sioux Falls defense this week.
Under 100 yards, like you said, they're a fantastic performance and as well. And going back to the defensive side of the football there, Ethan, especially your defense responding to your offense giving us safety, your special teams pin them deep in their own end zone, and they hustle to the ball carrier Brown in the backfield, pick up a safety of their own. And I think that's what really helped, establish their control in that football game.
Oh, it absolutely did. After that first interception, it was looking very likely that Tulsa was going to respond with a touchdown, maybe even a field goal, and just be able to just run roughshod and get themselves back in the game. But getting that interception right back, right at the very next play, that was just an incredible performance from the Sioux Falls defense. Right now they've contributed to 19 interceptions so far this season. They've got 25 tackles for losses. That these Sioux Falls Stars are looking very good on the defensive side of the ball.
They played well as of late. Coming up later on SFL Crunch Time, Logan Jack had a hat trick of touchdowns, but was it enough for the Skyhawks to escape Jacksonville with a victory? We'll find out when we come back.
And welcome back to SFL Crunch Time. In this next segment, we got Carolina at Jacksonville. Carolina down 7-0, rely on their workhorse. Tailback Logan Jack from 3 yards out runs it up the gut for a touchdown. We're knotted at 7. But he was not done, ladies and gentlemen. On this next highlight, Logan Jack again gets his second rushing TD of the contest, and Carolina takes the lead. Celebrating with his teammates on this accomplishment, but he's not done. This time he bounces to the outside. Scampers down the left sideline for yet his third rushing touchdown of this contest. Carolina up big. But Jacksonville been to the championship 2 times. They weren't done. They're fighting back. And Jared Willis rushes up the left sideline for a touchdown. Jacksonville on their way back. But this time rely on your defense. Connor Darien, former Atlanta Swarm DB, picks off the Carolina QB, and they're back into this contest. Down 3, clock running out, and he finds a receiver down the right sideline for a big gain, and time is ticking. Kingston Ellington moved those chains. They have to fight for the field goal position. They get him rush out in the field. The kick is up, and it is good. We going to OT, ladies and gentlemen. The rookie coming in proving his worth. In OT, Carolina gets the ball first. Drops back, surveys the field, and throws an ill-advised pass that is intercepted. Intercepted by former Chicago Wildcat, Greg Gaines. Jacksonville taking advantage of this great field position as Greg Gaines picks that ball off. They're already in field goal range, and they just want to close this one out. Be smart with the football. Marcus Dunhill drops back, completes the pass. They kick the field goal. It is up and good. And the rookie getting not only the kick to send the game into overtime, but he also gets the game winner. Jacksonville escapes.
Let's head over to Denver as the Gladiators visit the Nightwings. Here's a quick touchdown to Phil Kloss. Had himself a pretty good day, 13 of 15 for 117 yards. This was the only score that he would have, though. Going into later in the first quarter, Denver with the football. They're going to throw this one down the middle, but it was recepted by Riley Quintero, but it would be a penalty tacked on for some unnecessary roughness after the play. So that would give Denver a little bit more breathing room to run. Later in the drive, another pass here down the middle. That will be complete to Logan Keel. He had himself, that was his first and only target of the day for 19 yards. That would lead to this Matt Finnick field goal that would put Denver on the board 7-3 with the latter part of the first quarter. Second quarter now, St. Louis with the football, but it's gone immediately as another interception for St. Louis. That one picked off by Nick Kindler. That was Christian Brown's second pick of the day. Thankfully, it was also his last pick of the day. Did not have to deal with any more turnovers at that point. This punt, though, nearly blocked, but a great job there from the special teams from St. Louis, and they would take over in Denver territory. Coming up now later in the drive, closing in at the end of the first half, Brown would pass this one out down the middle. That would go to number 88, Eagle Mondavi, who had 6 for 6 on the day. This would lead to a 29-yard field goal from Bobby Ray Bouchamp. That would make it a 10-3 game with the final seconds of the half. Going into the third quarter now, field goal would make it 10-3 at the break. Start of the third quarter, Eric Price is going to throw here to the right side, caught there by Bryce Battle, and he shakes a couple tackles, and he looked to be gone to the house, but a great saving tackle from Gerald Winkler. But it brings it into St. Louis territory. A huge run here for Bryce Battle after the catch, catching it here right at the 40 and getting himself a good burst of speed, getting about a 50-plus yard pass completion. He would end up 3 for 3 on the day with 79 yards. You see there he gets tackled right there at the 11. A couple plays later here on third down, Price is going to throw a little blooper down the middle. That would be complete for a first down to Jeremy Mosley. That would keep the drive alive for the Nightwings. Now on second and goal now at the 1 yard line, Bailey O'Shaughnessy punches it in for the touchdown. That would give Denver a 10-10 tie. Now with St. Louis's ball, the pass would be intercepted. That was the second one, the pick off by Jose Fuentes. That would kind of really put Christian Brown in a bad spot. Then later on, this pass completion to Riley Quintero, he is gone. Touchdown, Denver. That would give Riley Quintero 4 of 5 receptions for 83 yards and that score. You can take a look at this again. A great reception there. Denver would hold on to the lead and win it 23-20.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back with more SFL Crunch Time.
Heading off to London now, the Knights hosting the Toros. Both teams looking for their first win of the season here. Late in the first quarter, this pass to Tiberius Bovine gets himself the first of 2 touchdowns he would have on the day. That would put the Knights up 14-7. And in the start of the second quarter, Pickler's tries to make a little pass here, but it's intercepted by Blake Prine. Defense had themselves a nice day. A few deflections here, about 7 deflections on the day, but this was the only interception of the day for Fort Worth. As we'll take a look at this again, just catching that on the bobble. Great awareness there from trying to get the ball back into Fort Worth hands, but they could not do anything with it as London gets the ball back, and Robert Merrill gets a great run here, spins, moves, and just gets out to the 20-yard line. With a great run there from Merrill. Next play on first down, Pickler's going to throw, and down the middle, pass complete here to Fox Highwind, who had himself a pretty good day for 35 yards. Then another one here to Highwind. That would be a touchdown, and that would give London a bigger lead. We'll take another look at this one. Great little juke here. Wide open with a one-handed grab, getting the score. And that would put London up 21-7. But later in the second quarter, it is Jason Williams, who had himself a 76-yard run from scrimmage previously, but he is gone here for 70 yards, getting the second touchdown of the day for Fort Worth. He would end up with 203 yards of rushing, and it's a great ground game for Fort Worth. Unfortunately, they would just end up coming short on the game score, as London gets their first win of the season. Pass intercepted there from Rain Rie. Fort Worth will fall to 0-5. All right, guys, so it's a bit of a tough road right now for Fort Worth. They're 0-5, only 7 games left. They're going to have a little bit of an uphill battle to get above 500. What does Fort Worth have to do to get off the schneid, to get that first notch in the win column?
Well, in my opinion, Fort Worth 2 seasons ago had one of the league's stingiest defense in terms of points per game. And for whatever reason, I'm not sure what's going on over there, but that has eluded them. And they are now giving up the second most points per game at 35.2. So they got to figure out what's going on the defensive side of the ball that allows them to stay within themselves, which is what they want to do, is pound the rock with Jason Williams. They haven't been able to do so because they've been behind the 8 ball versus several teams this season already.
And just to piggyback off that there, Eddie, is when Williams has opportunities to run the football, if he's given the opportunity, the time, the space to run the football, that offense looks completely different. We saw it versus Queen City. They were in control of that football game. They decided to throw the ball a little bit more. And maybe that's just the over-aggressiveness of this new coaching staff in Fort Worth. The changes they made over the past season, still trying to find their footing, and hopefully for the Toros and their fans that fortunes change and their luck changes and they are able to finally unlock that offense.
I think you're absolutely right in that. And let's not forget that Fort Worth, 3 of their losses came with less than a score. So they've been having a lot of trouble with short and, with a very, very tight game, very close game. They've had opportunities to really get behind the 8 ball for their opponents, but just nothing's been able to go their way. And hopefully they'll have things run a little bit better for them. Coming up after the break, Eddie and I take on the Grid. Who we got? We only got $12 to do it. We'll see who we pick right after this.
Aztecs trying to revenge their season 17 semifinal loss to Baltimore, but the tip drill to begin here in the midway part of the first half falls into JMS John Michael Suther's hands, and Baltimore start to drive here early. Very next couple of plays, Hazard gets the call on the swing pass. He'll scamper for a good gain up to the 3-yard line. Ultimately, Partington ended up having to put the Baltimore franchise on his back and get the first 3 points of the ball game. Matt Wilson, the Hall of Famer, though he just threw a duck over the middle. Troy Loshaw just there with a bread basket and says, "Hey, boo-boo, I got a pick in the basket." He just sits right there in the middle part of the zone. Nothing the wide receivers can do about that. Loshaw off to a good start here as Baltimore now needing to drive later part of the first quarter. And Junior on the reception. Next play, they find Hazard, who fights his way forward, fighting off defenders. Very nice athleticism. Now over the middle, caught, touchdown, Ivory Irvin, and Baltimore convert after picking up the interception. And it would go from bad to worse already in the football game. Bill Henry receives it, and he immediately is hit, fumbles, and Baltimore recover. And Baltimore's defense just was unrelenting, and it shows there. Ball pops free. Baltimore take over. Second quarter now. First play of the quarter. Pass the outside, goes in the way of Daley Holder. Later on, pass over the middle. Lloyd Graham Jr. again in on a reception, converts to the first down. Later on in the red zone, handoff through the middle. T-Roy Gaines fights his way forward for the first down. Former running back turned halfback making moves. And to finish out the drive with a touchdown pass over the middle to Ivory Irvin. Baltimore roll on to a victory 41-27. And now, ladies and gentlemen, Ethan and Eddie go into the squared square to face off as we get to the grid.
All right, Eddie, I'm going to wish you the best of luck on this. You've got the first pick. Who you taking first off the grid?
First off the grid, I don't need any luck with this pick. I'm going to go with quarterback Eric Price of the Denver Nightwings, who is currently on pace, although he's young in his career, on pace to finish the season with 31 touchdowns. I think that's money well spent. How about yourself? Who are you going with your first pick?
Well, I think I got to go with a quarterback as well, but I think I'm going to take Ace Fennick of Lone Star, one half of the Card Sharks with Ace and Deuce. He had himself a good day last week, 23 for 35, 2 touchdowns, 298 yards. I think the bigger thing that I'm looking at here when I'm looking at Ace Fennick, he's only been picked off 5 times this season. That is a very good amount. He's actually one of the second best in the SFL in terms of not having any passes picked away. So I think he's going to be my first off the board. Now for round 2, where are you going to go now?
Round 2, I'm going to go to running back, and I'm going to be really economical with my spending. I'm going to go with Brad Jones, rookie of the Houston Hyenas. He only cost $2. I know he's a rookie, but speaking with Damon, the owner of the Houston Hyenas, he plans on getting an animation on him this week that's going to improve his stats. I'm not going to get into too many details, get too much away, because I don't play him this season. But him being a balance back out of the league, Damon transferred him over to a finesse back, and so he plans on his production picking way up once he gets him that animation he'll be seeking come this week.
Okay.
How about yourself? Who you going with that next pick?
That's not bad. I think I am gonna reach a little bit, deep dive a little bit into the pockets here. For my second pick, I gotta pick Jason Williams from Fort Worth. I mean, he had over 200 yards rushing last week. We've talked about how Fort Worth has had, a lot of issues trying to get into the win column, but they have a very good running back here in Jason Williams. He's averaging about, if I'm doing my stats correctly, he's averaging 4.7 yards a carry, He's already got 643 yards on the season. He's doing very good on pacing. Could very well break 2,000 yards rushing if he has continual good performances down the line. I think that's probably where you're going to see a lot of rushing coming down in the future. It's going to be in the hands of Jason Williams. Now, we got 2 more to go. You got $6. $5 are going to be off the board for you now. Where are you going to go?
My next pick, I'm going to go wide receiver. I'm going to stay in the SFL South Division. I'm going to go with wide receiver Greg Soto. Greg Soto coming into after this 4 weeks of games, he already has 4 touchdowns. That's 1 touchdown per game. He's averaging almost 13 yards per catch. Has 25 catches in those 4 games. That's about 6 receptions per game. Money well spent. $3. Not very expensive for that kind of production. I'm going Greg Soto.
All right. And I kind of realized I kind of put myself in a bit of a pickle here with $7 left. I'm not gonna. I could do. Well, I mean, I got 5 left. I can do a 3 and a 2, and I know I'll be all right. So let's go ahead and take for $2. Take Mike Twinscrew from Fort Worth. He had 92 yards on the day last week. Doing pretty well for himself so far. It's one of those cases where I think, like I said, I kind of painted myself in the corner here, and I had to pick a wide receiver. But I think it's gonna be okay. He's averaging pretty well, almost 17 yards a reception, 16 receptions for 270. I think for $2, it's actually not a bad pick. It's a pretty solid one to go. So, 1 more to go. You got $3. 4 to cover off. Who are you going to take for your last pick?
Well, this is where I'm going to make this pick with this $3, and it's going to be pretty much checkmate for myself. I'm going to go ahead and give myself the win. And I'm going to go ahead with Lone Star. Going to stay with your team, and I'm going to pick up tight end Adam Williams. He doesn't get the targets that he used to get back in season 14, but he is productive when he catches the ball. He's averaging 22 yards per reception, and he already has 2 touchdowns, which for a tight end is pretty productive through 4 games of play. He's been targeted 22 times, only has 12 catches, so they can just find a way to get more production out of him when he is targeted. That's going to be money in the bank for myself.
Nice. Very nice.
Who's going to with that last pick?
Well, that last pick, you know what? I think I'm going to pick someone who kind of epitomizes the flex position, and I'm going to go with Bailey O'Shaughnessy of Denver. He's been a very good both on receiving and on rushing. He's currently 307 on the ground, 172 in the air. He's got 8 combined touchdowns in that run. And again, Denver's been doing pretty well for themselves. As you can see here, according to the stat sheet, Bailey didn't do much on the ground, but he did do some work in the air. Got 39 yards on receiving. Had a bit of a struggle last week, but I still believe Bailey O'Shaughnessy is a very solid player, good both on running and on passing. He epitomizes flex, and I think this would be a good way to round out my pick for the grid. Don't go anywhere, folks. More crunch times coming up right after this.
Back here at SFL Studios for Game Balls. All right, Mike, week 5, who you got?
Well, Cam, this truly could be this guy's second game ball. He's been probably the best free agent acquisition all season long. Gunnar Lewis, 17 catches, 196 yards, 2 touchdowns, and he is tied for the league, Cam, with 6 TDs, receiving TDs overall. He's had a great season so far with the San Diego Mavericks.
He's just been money, and they're using him so well. And I mean, you can't get him off the field. It's unbelievable. Great game ball there. I gotta go GP Wells, man. I think this guy's the biggest impact of the rookie class so far. His stat line against Tulsa: 15 carries, 101 yards, 2 touchdowns, 17 catches. I'll raise you Gunnar Lewis, and I'll give you GP Wells for 90 yards. He leads all running backs in the league in yards per reception, which is important. It shows that they're using him well out of the backfield. Swing City's back, baby. Sioux Falls is above 500. He has been a difference maker for them. From a former Sioux Falls player in Gunnar Lewis to a current one in GP Wells.
And Cam, I absolutely love GP Wells. This guy paid his dues down in the minors for 3 seasons, and it's definitely paying off dividends for the Sioux Falls Sparrows so far this season.
All right, who's next?
Well, Cam, I'm going to go with another newcomer free agent that's made a huge impact for his team, and that's going to be Tiberius Bovine, the Hall of Famer, coming over from Las Vegas. 11 catches, 115 yards, 2 touchdowns for the London Knights, and getting that first victory of the season. He's made a huge impact for this team. 31 catches on the season, and he's definitely becoming a factor with the London Knights.
Ooh, you're going to blow his head up real big. He's going to be crashing a whole bunch of weddings next convention. All right, I got Otis Boudreaux, kicker from Louisiana. I know you're kind of kicker again, Cam. 7 for 7, Mike. And on top of that, he won Special Teams Player of the Year last season for most field goals made without a miss. He's 15 for 15 this season, and he has made the most field goals without a miss. And before people think that, it's so easy, 12 kickers have missed so far this season, Mike, and Otis is perfect, and he is a huge reason why Louisiana is 3-2.
Yeah, no doubt about it, Cam. He did a great job this weekend. Sometimes those field goals will come back to bite you, but hey, when you make 7 of them, and play the defense that Louisiana played, you come out on top.
For Ethan, for Eddie, thanks for joining us. I've been Tyler Falk. Have a good night, everybody.